The area of Farmington is 1.32 million square miles. Approximately 375,000 square miles are used for chicken grazing. What percent of Farmington land is used for chicken grazing? Okay, there's a couple different ways we can do this, but usually when I hear what percent, I always think X over 100. I think in terms of proportion, so that's how I'm going to set this up. Now, what percent X over 100, we've got to think about what this other ratio is going to look like. So remember that we are also thinking part to whole. So we have the total area of Farmington is 1.32 million. So that's going to make our denominator 1.32 million. Million is 6. I'm just going to write that easily in scientific notation. And the part, this is what we're talking about with the chicken grazing. So the chicken grazing is going on the top, which is 375,000. So now I have a ratio that I can deal with. Now I don't know about you, but I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply because that is our next step. So when I do that, I have X over 100 again. I have 375,000 over 1.32 times 10 to the 6th. Okay, so when I multiply this way, I'm going to have two more zeros. So 375, add two more zeros. Excuse me, that's a bad spot for that. So this is my new number, and that's going to equal the other direction, which is 1.32 times 10 to the 6th times x, right? There's our unknown. And based off of solving equations, we know we want to get x by itself, so we're going to divide both sides by 1.32 times 10 to the 6th. Now, it might be a little bit easier if our numerator on this side is in scientific notation. So I'm going to go ahead and change. I know I'm going to have a 3.75 because I need my first number to be between 1 and 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, times 10 to the 7th, divided by 1.32 times 10 to the 6th. And this is going to give us our value of x. So when you divide this, remember that with dividing, we start with our numbers. So when I divide this, I get 2.840909 times 10 to the, I'm going to subtract my exponents, and 7 minus 6 gives me an exponent of 1. So we don't talk about percentages in terms of scientific notation. So this positive 1 says I'm going to move my decimal one place over. So I'm going to end up with 28.40909%. But if you go back to the original problem, it does say nearest tenth. So nearest tenth, we look one place past. That 0 tells us to round down. And so I end up with 28.4% as my final answer. So that is the approximate percent of Farmington land that is used for chicken grazing.